Welcome to Vision Vested, where we explore the hidden depths of human psychology and the silent battles fought within our minds. This video is not about temporary loneliness or a bad day, but about a systemic collapse in your social tolerance. We are discussing a specific kind of exhaustion where the ability to tolerate the presence of others has completely vanished. Think of your tolerance not as a renewable muscle, but as a finite bank account that has been slowly drained. For years, you have been making withdrawals from this account, spending your energy to keep the peace and remain polite. Every time you smiled when you wanted to scream, you paid a price that you did not know you were paying. Now, you have reached the bottom of the reserve, and the debt collectors of your psyche have come to collect. The collapse does not happen overnight. It is the result of decades of prioritizing the comfort of others over yourself. We call this the cost of adaptation, a survival mechanism you learned very early in life to ensure your safety. From childhood, many of us are taught that being easygoing and flexible is the only way to be loved. You learn to suppress your own needs to fit into the molds that family and society created for you. This constant shape-shifting requires a massive amount of cognitive energy, draining your batteries faster than you can ever recharge them. Eventually, the biological system that sustains this performance begins to fail, leading to a total shutdown of your social functions. You find yourself sitting in your car for 30 minutes, dreading the simple act of walking through your own front door. The sound of a ringing phone triggers a physical flight response, sending waves of anxiety coursing through your tired body. This is not about being antisocial. It is about the structural integrity of your personality finally giving way under pressure. You begin to construct invisible walls around yourself, not to keep people out, but to keep your remaining self inside. The solitude becomes a sanctuary, a place where the demands of the world cannot reach you and drain you further. Friends may ask if you are okay, but you lack the energy to explain the complexity of your internal collapse. Explaining requires energy, and energy is the one resource you simply do not have left in your emotional bank account. So you choose silence, a retreat that looks like arrogance to others, but feels like survival to your exhausted mind. This withdrawal is not a choice made out of malice. It is a biological necessity to prevent a total psychological breakdown. People become noise, their words become clutter, and their presence feels like a heavy weight pressing on your chest. Sensory overload becomes a daily reality, where even the most casual conversation feels like an interrogation you cannot escape. You observe the world from behind a glass wall, present physically, but emotionally miles away from anyone who tries to connect. The persona you've built to navigate society has crumbled, and you no longer have the materials to build a new one. This state is often confused with depression, but it is specifically a burnout related to social performance and emotional labor. You are a battery that has lost the ability to hold a charge, no matter how long you stay plugged in. The relief you feel when plans are canceled is the only positive emotion you have experienced in a very long time. You realize you cannot give what you do not have, and you have absolutely nothing left to give to anyone. Nature becomes appealing because trees do not ask for explanations, and the wind does not demand you to smile back. You begin to crave a life of zero ripples, where nothing happens and no one expects anything from you at all. This is the silent withdrawal, a phase where avoiding interaction becomes your primary occupation and your most critical daily task. You watch people walk out of your life, and you do not lift a finger to stop them from leaving. The cost of maintaining relationships has become higher than the value they bring, tipping the scales toward total isolation. Digital disconnection follows physical withdrawal as you sever the electronic tethers that bind you to the demands of others. You exist in a state of suspension, waiting for your internal systems to reboot, but the screen remains static. There is a strange freedom in hitting rock bottom, as you no longer have to fear falling any further down. You start finding comfort in empty spaces, late nights, and places where the probability of encountering someone is near zero. The pretense is over, and you are finally presenting your true, exhausted self to the world, regardless of consequences. You accept that people will label you as cold, arrogant, or selfish, and you find that you do not care. Defending yourself requires energy, so you plead guilty to all charges of social negligence just to end the trial. This acceptance of misunderstanding is the final stage of the collapse, marking the death of your desire for validation. You look at normal social interactions, and they seem alien to you, a ritual you have forgotten how to perform. The anxiety fades, replaced by a numbness that is not happy, but is infinitely better than the pain of pretending. You have stopped writing the story of who you should be, and are now staring at the blank page of reality. The shattered pieces of your identity settle at the bottom, and the surface of your life becomes still and quiet. You are pruning your life aggressively, cutting away everything that is not essential for your immediate survival and sanity. The baggage of expectations is heavy, and you have finally decided to put it down and walk away light. This is not a tragedy, it is a reckoning, a moment of absolute truth between you and your limitations. Time slows down when you stop rushing to meet the needs of others, giving you space to finally breathe. They ask why you have changed, not realizing that you haven't changed. You have simply stopped acting the part. The show is over, the audience has left, and the actor has finally taken off the costume and gone home. Solitude is the price of this freedom, and for the first time in your life, you are willing to pay it. You stop trying to complete the puzzle of a perfect life and accept the fragmented reality that you now inhabit. Your life becomes an island, and you pull up the drawbridge to ensure no new visitors can disturb your peace. You are rebuilding your energy field, not to go back out, but simply to exist without pain within your walls. There is wisdom in giving up when the task is impossible, and pleasing everyone was always an impossible task. You have cut the strings that allowed society to make you dance, and now you lie still, but you are free. The face in the mirror is older and sadder, but it is no longer lying to you or the world. This journey does not have a traditional happy ending, where you return to the party and become the life of it. The damage is done and the scars remain, reminding you of the limits you must never cross again in life. You learn to see things as they are, stripped of the optimism or pessimism that used to color your perception. Even family ties are strained, as you can no longer perform the role of the dutiful child or supportive sibling. You have entered the winter of your social life, a time of dormancy required to survive the harsh coldness inside. The silence of snow is comforting, covering the mess of your past interactions with a clean, white blanket of nothingness. You tend to your own fire now, ensuring it keeps you warm, rather than using it to light the way for others. Burning bridges is sometimes the only way to stop yourself from crossing back over to places that hurt you. The ocean does not care if you are friendly, and in its vast indifference, you find a strange kind of comfort. You stop trying to fix broken dynamics, realizing that some things are meant to stay broken for your own safety. Saying goodbye becomes a habit, a necessary ritual to clear the space for your own existence to finally take root. Minimalism becomes not just a design choice, but a lifestyle of emotional survival, keeping only what is absolutely necessary. Dinner for one is no longer lonely. It is a peaceful ceremony of nourishing yourself without the need for conversation. The silence in your home is not empty. It is full of the peace you have fought so hard to secure. You can observe joy without needing to participate in it, finding satisfaction in the role of the silent observer. You have built a fortress, and while it may be lonely inside, it is the only place you feel safe. Writing becomes your conversation. The paper becomes your confidant, listening without judgment and without demanding a response from you. The storm has passed, and while the sun is not shining, the winds have died down, and that is enough. Insignificance is a relief. Knowing the world will go on without your participation lifts the weight off your shoulders. You learn to flow around obstacles rather than crashing into them, preserving your momentum for your own journey. Purging your physical space helps clear your mental space, removing the triggers that remind you of your social obligations. You claim your space in the world, not by being loud, but by being present in your own silence. The chaos in your mind begins to organize itself once the constant input of other people's emotions is removed. Doing things alone stops feeling like a failure and starts feeling like a luxury you have finally afforded yourself. Focus returns when distraction is eliminated, allowing you to engage deeply with tasks that actually bring you satisfaction. You accept the cycles of your own nature, understanding that you are currently in a phase of withering, not blooming. Deleting a contact is a reclaim of power, a small act of rebellion against the tyranny of expected availability. Animals become better companions than humans because their love is simple and their demands are clear and manageable. Waking up without the dread of social interaction is the first sign that your new system is working. You find joy in the micro moments, the small pockets of peace that were previously overshadowed by social anxiety. You experience life directly, not through the lens of how you will share it or explain it to others. The world is grayer now, less vibrant without the highs of connection, but also free from the lows of rejection. Saying no becomes a complete sentence, requiring no justification or softening to make it palatable to others. You retreat into your shell not out of fear, but out of a deep understanding of your own vulnerability. The city looks beautiful from a distance, just like humanity is easier to love when you are not involved. You are the last piece standing on your board, having sacrificed everything else to ensure the king's survival. Sleep comes easier when you are not replaying conversations in your head, wondering if you said the wrong thing. Your subconscious begins to heal, showing you images of space and freedom rather than anxiety and social entrapment. You direct your limited, nurturing energy towards things that grow silently, like plants, rather than people who demand words. Social obligations that used to terrify you are now easily discarded as you no longer play by their rules. You stop running from discomfort and start embracing the raw elements of life, finding truth in the cold. Patience returns, but only for things that do not speak, do not judge, and do not require your performance. You let the time run out, and you do not reset the clock. You simply step out of time. You can honor who you used to be without trying to resurrect him. Let the dead version of you rest. The path less traveled is lonely, yes, but it is also quiet, and quiet is what you need most. You become a spectator in the cinema of life, watching the drama unfold without ever stepping onto the screen. Creativity often flourishes in this void, as the energy once used for talking is now channeled into making. Your output becomes darker, perhaps, but it also becomes infinitely more authentic and true to your inner state. You prioritize your mental sanctity over ambition, turning down opportunities that threaten to breach your defensive walls. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication when your complex mind can no longer handle the intricate games of society. The stars do not care about your bank account or your social status, and that indifference is liberating. You are learning to be your own lighthouse, guiding yourself through the dark waters without expecting a rescue ship. There is a profound safety in being unreachable, knowing that no one can intrude upon your sanctuary today. You have locked the door and swallowed the key, ensuring that not even you can easily open it again. Even symbols of death become peaceful, representing the ultimate cessation of social demands and expectations. Beauty can still grow in this isolation, a different kind of beauty that is resilient and self-contained. You recognize others who are on the same journey, acknowledging them with silence rather than forced conversation. You are comfortable with leaving no trace, with fading out of the collective memory of your social circle. Nostalgia may visit you, but it is a guest that does not stay long, chased away by reality. Manual work becomes a meditation, grounding you in the physical world and keeping your mind from wandering. You find magic in the mundane, seeing patterns in steam and shadows that you were too busy to notice. You are investing in your future self by protecting your present self, a long-term strategy of preservation. Every new day is a victory of survival, a testament to your ability to endure the silence. Trust is rebuilt slowly, starting with nature and animals, waiting to see if the world is safe again. You age, but you also clarify. The muddy waters of your youth have settled into a clear pool. Books do not betray you, and stories do not demand that you fix their plot holes. Uncertainty is no longer scary, it is just another form of open space where anything can happen. Your inner flame is small, but it is resilient, protected by the cupped hands of your solitude. You appreciate things that have been worn down by time, seeing your own reflection in their smooth surfaces. You are returning to the earth in a way, grounding yourself in the physical reality of the planet. The rhythm of your life slows down to match the beating of your own heart, not the city. Laughter returns, but it is private laughter, shared only with yourself and the empty room. Completeness is a myth. You learn to live with the holes in your life without trying to fill them. You are that boat, drifting away from the harbor, seeking waters that are uncharted and solely yours. Endings are beautiful if you accept them, and you have accepted the end of your social era. Rituals replace routines, giving your days a sense of meaning that does not depend on other people. Your impact on the world becomes subtle, gentle, and almost invisible, just the way you want it. The noise in your head finally stops, replaced by a silence that is loud in its clarity. You walk deeper into the forest of your own being, discovering things you never knew existed. Connection with nature replaces connection with society, a bond that is ancient and unbreakable. Moments of brilliance still happen, witnessed only by you and the universe. Rest is no longer an escape. It is a genuine replenishment of the energy you no longer waste. You are a ghost in the machine of society, present but untouchable, visible but unreachable. Your perspective has flipped. What seemed important is now trivial, and what was trivial is now vital. You have made peace with the stranger in the mirror, accepting him as your only true companion. You let the fresh air in, clearing out the stale atmosphere of years of pretense and lies. From this height, the problems of the valley seem insignificant, mere specks of dust in the wind. You have let your old self fall into the abyss, and you are not waiting to hear the crash. You turn away from the edge and walk towards a future that is defined by your own terms. The road ahead is quiet, shaded, and cool, a perfect path for a tired traveler like you. You collect moments of beauty, preserving them in the library of your mind for darker days. Clarity is the ultimate gift of this collapse. You see everything exactly as it is. You feel more alive in your isolation than you ever did in the crowded rooms of your past. Like birds returning to the nest, you have returned to yourself, the only home that truly matters. You keep your own light burning, not for others to see, but so you can find your way. The chapter of adaptation is closed, and the book of your life is now written in your own hand. You are not broken, you are simply finished with the performance, and there is dignity in that ending. The universe is vast enough to hold your silence, and it does not ask you to speak. Guard your flame, for it is the source of your life, and do not let the winds blow it out. You merge with the quiet dark, finding comfort where others find fear, and peace where others find loneliness. This is not a sad ending. It is a quiet beginning to a life that is finally yours. Acceptance is the key that unlocks the prison cell, allowing you to walk free into the silent yard. Be light as a feather, unburdened by the weight of expectations, drifting wherever the wind of truth takes you. This has been Vision Vested, exploring the collapse of tolerance and the rise of a new, silent self. Thank you for watching Vision Vested. If you found yourself in this story, know that your silence is valid. Goodbye.